So I've been and continue to be extremely impressed by the systematic and I think very well thought through process of consultation and development that the RE Council and others are undertaking to develop this idea of a worldview approach to RE through the online conference that I was a part of as a part of a kind of broader suite of activities. It seems clear that the change being discussed is urgently needed, given important shifts to the worldview landscape, especially regards the growth of non-religious identification, which is particularly seen indeed with young people, so people in education. And there's a need to implement change sooner rather than later, I think. But despite those quite great pressures, I see a really visionary approach emerging around RE that brings together, on the one hand, the latest academic research around worldview as the way in which humans conceptualize their own existence and how these existential cultures shape their lives and the lives of others around them, as well as, on the other hand, the deep knowledge of religion and religion in the classroom that teachers have to offer. And indeed, their knowledge of worldview, even where it hasn't been so called before now, even where that's not the term that's been used. I think there's a great amount of knowledge there. And that kind of bringing together of vantage points and expertise has made the ongoing process of developing this worldview approach to RE, I think, hugely edifying for all concerned, certainly for myself. I also see a lot for those grappling with the same issues in other areas, so in media, in public policy and so on, to learn from here in this process and perhaps to emulate.
Well, it was really great to take part in this project, and I was very grateful to the way it was done and the really rich discussions we had. And I went in with quite a few questions about worldview and emerged much more positive about the concept, though still with questions. And what I was doing was testing it against my own understanding of the sort of world and society that we're educating our children for, which I think is, I mean, our society is not a religious society. Primarily, it's not a secular society primarily. It's a multi-religious and multi-secular society. And our world is a multi-religious world with, of course, about over 80% of the world's population being religious, which is very important to remember, but also a multi-secular world. And I think the key thing in this for education is that of meaning, and if possible, depth of meaning, richness of meaning, the sort of life-shaping meaning that good religions and worldviews are primarily about. And my fear in this, therefore, is shallowness. And I think that one of the dangers of worldview is that we try to spread the curriculum far too wide and have breadth without depth. And I think that there's so little time for this topic, this subject in the curriculum. And my ideal is a pluralism of multiple depths that are in conversation with each other. And you can't do too many depths within one area of the curriculum in a school. And therefore, there are some hard choices to be made. And I think that one skill that is particularly needed in this is that of lively conversation around the great carriers of meaning. And they can be rituals, they can be films, they can be buildings, but above all, I think they're texts. And what I would like to see is that there's a concentration on some really key texts of different religions and worldviews so that you can go deeper and deeper and deeper, because that's what people do in these traditions at their best. And we want children to emerge with a sense of appreciation of what it is that really makes people and whole communities tick, what it is that they live from, what is the core meaning, the core wisdom of their lives. Now, I think worldview is very necessary in a multi-religious and multi-secular world. Worldview is very necessary to include, therefore, in the area of religion and belief. And if it manages somehow to have this pluralism of multiple depths in conversation with each other, and the exploration of those rich carriers of meaning, then I'm all for worldview.